Hi, my name is Hallie Marion, and today I'm going to be talking about the legalization of marijuana use and how that's going to affect human resources. So, I want to talk about the difference between medical and recreational marijuana use. I also want to discuss what type of policies the employers can set in place, and also training, drug screening, and background checks. So, there are currently 22 states that have legalized the use of medical marijuana use only. There are also 11 states that currently have legalized both recreational and medical marijuana use. So, I just want to talk about the difference between the two. Medical marijuana has to be prescribed by a doctor to have access to the drug. Whereas recreational use, it is allowed for anyone to use at their own leisure. But even though there are states that have legalized medical and recreational use, employees can still be fired or not hired for a position if they test positive to a drug screening. This is because it is dependent on whether the company complies to the state or the federal law. So, there are three different types of policies that employers can set into place. So, the first would be to completely outlaw any use of marijuana. Employers can also allow and accommodate just the use of medical marijuana, or the employers can allow and accommodate the use of medical and recreational marijuana use. These policies are very dependent on what type of job the employee is doing and the type of company an image they want to set out to the public. This is possible because marijuana is still illegal based on federal laws. So training is a big thing that's going to change in the states that have legalized marijuana use and also the companies that allow it as well. Employees are not allowed to go to work under the influence or impaired by any substance at all. So employers and employees are going to have to implement a new aspect to their training, and that's going to be able to detect and what to do in a situation when they think that there is an employee who is under the influence of marijuana. Drug screening is also going to change a lot as well. So, testing for marijuana is very different than testing for alcohol, so this is going to create a lot of problems for HR. It's very difficult to be able to detect whether the marijuana use has happened on or off duty because marijuana can be detected in urine up to 90 days prior to the test. So, employees can fail a drug test, but they may not be under the influence of marijuana at the time of the test. So, a lot of companies are going to implement impairment tests. So, they'll be set in place instead of drug screenings to test short term memory and reaction times to see if they are truly impaired or under the influence of marijuana. So, another thing that's going to be affected by the legalization of marijuana in HR is background checks. So, in 2018 alone, there were 663,000 people who are arrested for violation of marijuana law. And out of those arrests, only 800,000 were for possession only. For the states that have legalized marijuana use, those crimes are going to be expunged eventually. So this means that for background checks, they will no longer be able to see past marijuana related convictions. So this will no longer be a factor on whether or not the employee gets the job. Thank you for listening, and these are my references. Thanks.